Welcome to Off the Clock, the show where we work on the basis that the real office talk starts when we're on our own time. I'm your host, Heather DeLand, employer brand expert and creative writer, bringing you all the latest on employment, workplace culture, and employer brand. I think that's enough introduction. Let's get straight to the news. First up, social mobility and working class talent. This month marked Social Mobility Day, where companies paused to wonder, do we employ anyone whose dad didn't own a boat? According to the Institute for Fiscal Studies, the UK's lack of socioeconomic diversity in senior roles is costing the economy £19 billion a year in lost productivity and untapped potential. That's £19 billion that could have gone towards schools, infrastructure, or at least one decent coffee machine in the offices they're making us return to. Research shows that working class employees are 60% less likely to reach the top jobs, even when equally qualified. In response, employers like Sky, PwC, JP Morgan, and BP are launching social mobility schemes, offering mentorship, volunteering days, and outreach to schools. And it's not just for altruistic reasons. Diversity is no longer just a nice to have, it's coming to a boardroom near you as a slide in the investor pack and a booster for the CEO's bonus. In fact, according to McKinsey, companies with more diverse executive teams outperform their peer companies by up to 36%. That's right, employers want 36% better performance? Turns out, hiring people who didn't go to the same boarding school helps. Tech layoffs. In 2025, they're starting to look a lot less like a correction and more like a purge. According to layoffs.fyi, over 90,000 tech workers have been let go so far this year, and that's just the people who admitted it on LinkedIn. But in true millennial fashion, displaced workers are turning job loss into content. Communities on Reddit, LinkedIn, Discord, and even Substacks with titles like Laid Off are helping the newly unemployed find jobs, share tips, and trauma bond over corporate betrayal. As one laid off UX designer put it, I lost my job, but I gained a support group and 600 new followers. May or may not be a real quote. So, while you might not have dental anymore, at least you're emotionally bonded to 37 strangers on a Discord server. Solidarity is the new severance. Over to Ireland, where Pride Month has arrived, and some companies are quietly packing away the rainbow beanbags. According to the Sunday Times, many Irish firms are moving away from performative gestures like rainbow logos and pride cupcakes because it turns out inclusion is more than an Instagram filter. Instead, DEI is being tied to real business outcomes, leadership targets, inclusivity audits, employee feedback, and compensation linked to actual progress, not just vibes. This shift is a response to the growing backlash against diversity theater. You know, when your company celebrates Pride, Black History Month, and International Women's Day with the same Canva template? Now firms are opting for measurable change, not just colorful branding. Because nothing says we support you like KPI-driven allyship in addition to the rainbow macarons. And we go now to South by Southwest London. Well, we don't really go, just like we don't go to Cannes. We just watch everybody else's self-congratulations fast from the outside looking in with our faces smushed up against the computer screens. Workplace experts from Canva and Flourish declared that the future of employee engagement is visual first. That's right. Infographics, short-form video, charts with motion effects, basically anything that doesn't involve 600 words of Arial 11 point. Why? Because Gen Z and Gen Alpha, aka your new hires, consume content like it's TikTok, fast, visual, and ideally with a soundtrack by Doja Cat. Forget the company newsletter if it doesn't loop, ping, or involve a dance challenge, it's not getting read. So to engage younger workers, companies are investing in visual tools. Canva's own internal comms team now shares updates in TikTok-style loops, and even Deloitte is experimenting with gamified onboarding videos. Meanwhile, Adobe's workplace feed looks like a design student's final project. In the best way. Look, I'm not knocking it. Let's be honest. Anything that replaces a 34-slide town hall deck is a cultural reset we're ready to embrace. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, drumroll! Every recruitment marketing client's main KPI, the Sunday Times Best Places to Work 2025 edition is out. And apparently, the key to employee happiness is not being at work. The list, compiled from over 500 companies, highlights flexible work, mental health support, and a few unusual perks. For example, Awin, a digital marketing company, made the list with a 4-day work week. Another provides free driving lessons. And one firm offers pet bereavement leave. Because when your manager leaves, that's just succession planning. But when a pet dies, that's really sad. Also on the list, the Alzheimer's Society, celebrated for its inclusive culture and meaningful work. You know, just generally being a good workplace. Moral of the story, you get happy employees and you get on Employer Brand Santa's nice list by having cool benefits, decent hours, and maybe, just maybe, not treating burnout like a core competency. And in our final story for today, boomers are back in hospitality aprons. In a plot twist no one saw coming, baby boomers are rejoining the hospitality workforce. Did you think boomers were the last generation to even contemplate the idea of retiring? Well, think again. According to ONS data and reports in The Grocer, there's been a 10% rise in over 60s working in cafes, pubs, and restaurants across the UK. Turns out, older workers bring reliability, customer service, and actual eye contact, skills missing in an age of self-checkout and side hustles. Employers are adapting roles to attract older staff, offering flexible shifts and less physically demanding jobs. So yes, your bartender might now be called Margaret, and she remembers when pints cost 50p and TikTok was just the sound your clock made. That's the comeback no one expected. But when boomers return to work, they don't just serve, they supervise. That's it from me. Thank you for tuning in to Off the Clock, and remember, if your employer won't give you pet bereavement leave, just cry during the team call. It's called engagement. And if you get laid off, start a Substack or a vodcast or both. See you next time. Now, back to pretending your webcam is broken.